or you can make your own. And in Calabria, this is a very favorite type of pasta. And to make it, you need some unbleached flour and some semolina flour and eggs. And you mix the flours together with a little bit of salt and the eggs, and you have a dough, much like this one. And then after you make the dough, you let the dough rest for about 30 minutes. And then that's when the fun begins. And let me show you how you do this. Now, in order to get the shape, you need to put the dough around something. This is just a metal skewer that I use for barbecuing, or you could use wooden ones like this. Originally, though, this pasta was made on fishing poles. Do you believe it? Wrap it around the skewer just like that, you see? Make sure that it's anchored there at the edge. And then, let me get that around there again, and then just twist like that to get your classic shape. Then you can take these and let them dry either overnight and use them later on. They have to be totally dry or they will mold. Or you can just let them dry for about 20 minutes before you're ready to cook them. So now we have our pasta water ready. And remember, the rule is use a big enough pot. You want at least 4 to 6 quarts of boiling water. When the water comes to a boil, that's when you add your salt. So you want to add about a tablespoon for every 4 quarts of water that you're using. And now I can take the rest of my fusilli, which are here, and you see I made different shaped ones, and just now get them into the water. You want to make sure that when you get the fusilli in the water, that you get them below the water line. So get them all in, and then get a spoon and push them down, because now you want to bring that water back to the boil. So when you get them in, take your lid, put it back on, and when that water comes back to a boil, we're going to take that off and let those cook al dente. Now, we want to make the sauce for this. And the sauce that I want to make is a tomato and anchovy sauce, but it has cheese in it. That's a little unusual because most fish dishes with pasta, fish sauces, do not have cheese, but this one does. So we want about 3 tablespoons of olive oil in a saute pan. And then with this, we want to have anchovy. And here we have anchovy. It's a member of the herring family. These are salted. We rinse the salt off, and now we want to put those in with the olive oil. And the idea here is to let the anchovy melt into the olive oil. You really want those to disintegrate right into the oil, so push on them with your spoon to get the dissolving started. Then, with that, we want olives, and we let that cook a while. I'm going to turn the heat up now to this because I want that really to get a sizzle on it. And now let me just check, see if we brought this water back to the boil yet. No, we didn't. We've really got to get that up there. Almost, though. It's almost there. Now, in addition to that, for our sauce, we're going to have tomato sauce. And this is just a basic homemade tomato sauce. It's nothing more than a little bit of garlic and olive oil and tomatoes. You can use fresh or canned, but try to use plum tomatoes if you can. A little bit of salt, pepper. You could put a little bit of wine in this if you wanted to, and some basil or some oregano. And all I did was cook that for about 10 minutes, and I have a very quick, fresh tomato sauce. So we have about 1 3/4 cups. And this is something called fior di latte, the flour of the milk. This is cow's milk mozzarella cheese, and it's a fresh cheese. And we're going to cut this up into small pieces, so it is in a dice like this. Now, I'm not going to add this now. I'm going to add this at the end when the sauce is cooked. So I'm going to leave that over to the side just for a few minutes and go back here and see how we're doing. Okay, now I'm getting a sizzle. Now I am getting a good sizzle. Before I put the tomatoes in, let me see how we're doing here. Okay, I can take the cover off now. And you know what? While these are boiling in here, I've got spinach fusilli cooking in this pot because we're going to be making a sauce for that as well. Okay, now I think we can put this in. So in goes the tomatoes. I wish you could be here to smell this. This is very quick, very delicious. So in go the tomatoes, and now I want to give that some salt, and I like to use sea salt. I just think that has a better flavor. And you know it's a little bit more expensive, but you only need to use less of it. So a jar or a box will last you a very long time. And a little bit of pepper goes in here. Did you know that Calabria is known as the Switzerland of the South because of its mountainous terrain? Isn't that a neat way to think about your heritage and your homeland? Okay, that's doing well. That's cooking down nicely. So now, while the pasta is cooking, and let me see here, I want to give a look. Look at how beautiful this is starting to look. What to do is add the oregano, and now that's ready to go. So we can turn that off and drain the pasta. And we want to make sure that that's cooked al dente. And they look beautiful. And believe me, they've held their shape. So into the platter they go. And now we take this sauce. Whoop, I'm in a hurry here. We take this sauce and put it right over our pasta. Oh, I wish Tommy could be here because that smells wonderful. And we want to give that a nice toss. Look at how beautiful the fusilli take up that wonderful cheese.